Welcome to the Limit Free Life Show. I'm Michelle Perkins, your host. I bring you tips, advice, and guest stories about creating work you love. Whatever type of career or business you have or want, I want to help you find more meaning, money, and happiness. Now we are live from Hollywood.
Hello, and welcome to the Limit Free Life Show. Doing things a little differently today. We are home. We're podcasting from home. I have a very weird strip of light, but we'll just find some symbolism in that, and I hope that means something good coming from my skylight. I have a fantastic guest who I've had before a couple of times. So Lorenda Phillips from retiredfromsports.com is joining us again, because we like every month to have a conversation, women talking business, and that's what we're going to do today. And so, Lorenda, I'm going to actually just invite you to say a little bit on your behalf about what you do. And instead of reading a bio today, let's just...
Yeah, I love that. Love talking about myself, as you know. Lorenda Phillips is my name. I'm the founder and CEO of Retired from Sports. I work with the athletes, professional athletes, with their transition from their sport to what's next. They often lose a lot of things besides money in their contract. They lose identity and purpose. They lose their fan base. They lose who they know themselves to be, and they often get stuck. And coaching really helps in that transition. So that's what I do for them. And for 20 years before that, I was coaching entrepreneurs. So I have a master's degree in coaching, MCC in coaching, just to make it clear, which is a very high prestigious credential in the coaching world. So I'm very proud of it.
Great, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. It is a crazy time, and I love your whole demeanor is basically the same. I mean, there's no panic. You got a couple things today. Mm-hmm. And one is how to just live well right now, what we can do to enjoy this pause that we're in and stay healthy and find some other things to do, and that we may never get time to do and we need to do or want to do. This is our moment where we can take advantage of a little time to do some of the ways, even to adapt to that, like what we're doing right now. So, so that's one thing we're going to talk about. And then we're going to talk about just business and keeping business going, because that is possible right now. For some people, it's going gangbusters, actually, because for some people, this is really, there's a huge demand out there for your products or services. For other people, not so much. Things have maybe probably slowed. And for some, things have stopped. And so, Lorenda, you talk to athletes in transition and other people. This is a transition for every one of us, really on the planet, not even just in this country. So it is a crazy time, but we're in this together. And I think that in some ways makes it kind of beautiful. And I think some good is coming out of it. And that's a whole thing that I could talk about for an hour, but I'm not going to. So
that's great.
So first of all, what would you say right now that you're grateful for in this moment?
Yeah, it's so funny. That was one of my notes, is to be grateful. So fantastic that you asked me. First of all, I am grateful. I am busier than I've been in a long time, mostly because of what I've been doing for my old clients, frankly. Mm-hmm. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that I have the capacity to do it. I'm grateful, not over, and still not quite over it, but over to how can I help? Mm-hmm. Like, what service can I provide? And it came from gratitude. Look and list the things I'm grateful for. Mm-hmm. And that sometimes is just the day, oh my gosh, I connected with this athlete. I've been working. So thank you for that. And anyway, I had my husband passed away 2 years ago, and I'm grateful that I'm now so much healed and now can really deal with the loss for a lot of people that are going through loss that way. And that I'm really, I wanted to help, right? Get me to a food bank, or get me to, Rosie the Riveter, right? Give me something to do. But the truth is, excuse me. The truth is that, excuse me, just a sneeze, get like I have to save the world. Just don't do that. I did send a text to people and my old clients and my current clients and said, I'm a victim. So if you want to, just let me know. Well, I got packed. And it's good because I can provide that. And mostly it's just I'm a listener, talking a lot now, but I'm mostly a listener for what's going on. And I really am. So it's really good for me. And it's good then to repeat it so that I get it while I'm talking to people. So I know I went from gratitude to, what I'm doing with my clients, but I wanted to say that it came from being grateful.
Yeah. I love it. Thank you. And that's perfect because that gratitude practice is fuel for the positive feelings.
Like with endorphins or something, because I just don't feel like you can be upset and grateful in the same.
Great studies on what happens when you are in gratitude to your brain. And
great.
It's scientifically proven to be a thing to help you.
Yeah,
and then that'll happen and we can take us down a bad road. So you and I were talking before about how we're not this decision, I think, to if you feel yourself doing that, that kind of thinking and starting to spin a little bit, you can feel it in your body, when you're doing it. And thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And I love that you're busier than ever. And I'm hearing that from a number of people. I'm hearing the opposite as well, but I'm also, so if you're busy with work, right, I'm not running around.
Amazing how much time we've saved.
Oh my gosh. I go on for hours about the very unexpected benefits of that. I go to meetings, and being forced to be home has really had a huge impact on my ability to focus.
I mean, really, we have choices have inundated us.
Yes.
It's kind of like the good thing in life has kind of come back around and bite us. It's almost like a winning formula is a organization that just feels to me like work has been like that for me.
Yeah, I think collectively there's been a lot of busyness and a lot of running around, a lot of it unnecessary. And now is the time to figure that out and kind of, whether it's the clutter in your house or the clutter in how you do your work, now's a great time to evaluate all of it. And, we're forced to be in a situation that in some ways could be better for us in the long run. So you're busier can then have some cutoffs to your work time.
Yes.
And for those people who are not at work and are really, gosh, I just don't even, all of us spend their time, but people, who are really lost and worried and out of work right now, how can they spend their time at home in a way that's productive and positive?
Well, one of the things I definitely believe in your job, you live month to month. You may have a couple $100, in the savings. So it can be scary. Mm-hmm. But if you could, so even at that, what could you be grateful for? What in your life could it be family, or what are some of the busy mind, I think in the back of the brain, busy. I mean, like silent, quiet. Mm-hmm. And one way is to keep yourself like in action, in kind of an action, not so much busyness, but more like things that are intentional. Mm-hmm. And you can start, there's in 3 or 4 different areas. For sure, I can see self-care. Yeah. Like, how often have you taken a bath in the middle of the day? Start taking baths, start taking showers, like for the wonderfulness of how it feels, including the cleaning, right? That. The other thing is like taking care of some business things that have not been taken care of for a while. I don't know. I think all of us, whether we have it physically or in our heads, we have lists of things like, I wish I could do it. I wish I could do more blogging. I wish I could do more podcasts, making calls. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But we don't because we're, first of all, we're running to the grocery store every minute. That's what I've noticed is how much time I've saved. Like, oh my God, I just haven't. So anyway, so that, and And the other thing about business is to really look at, some of us work on goals. I do, by the way. Okay. So even if the goals and the change has, I want to say something about change too. Change can scare the heck out of us, and often does. And this is a change, and and as you said, it's worldwide. People are dying. People are losing massive amounts of money. So they're sequestered, then they're contained, which, oh my gosh, let's have a huge, perfect storm on that one. Yeah. And yet there is, a change brings about, kind of unforeseen, I think we talked about this last time, but unforeseen gifts. So if you can kind of hold that there, then you could say, okay, what could I do with my 2.5 hours today? Okay, Lorinda just said take a bath. Okay, I can take a bath. Okay, what else? Okay, well, I can maybe, okay, and then, and if my older family members don't know how to do Zoom, I'm going to say, okay, Michael, who's my nephew, who's 22, and it would be just setting it up would be kind of fun. And then many people do this on a daily basis, and many don't. Right. So if you get something that happens once a month for the rest of our lives, right? So there's that idea. And then there's the work things, which are, how can we support the people that have been our customers? What message could we give them? And even if it's a weekly message, we can work on it for a day and then deliver it the next. San Luis Obispo. And they just said, thank you so much for, being with us. If there's any way that you could buy something online from us by using a gift card, or if you could just purchase a gift card, that would keep us afloat. One of my clients is, she's a caterer. Of course, there's no events. So she's devised, and, she's got her gloves, and she's talking on the video about, how careful she is, and with the mask, and you can tell it's a real mask, and how she's providing this so that people can eat well, and don't have to go to the grocery store. And this was the thing that was brilliant. She is so brilliant. She said, okay, I need about, I think it was $3,000 a month to stay afloat. If 50 people ordered a monthly package of X other, and do you know, I called her like 3 days after I saw it. I said, hey, Kim, how's it going? And she's like, I'm done. I'm set. And that's like, she said, I would never have thought of doing that. Yeah. And I said, yeah, that's one of the gifts of this whole thing. She said, exactly. And, and she's kind of a no nonsense young woman, right? She's, she's Asian, very hard worker, blah, blah, blah. But she said, it's had me kind of open up a little bit and be more transparent. And she says, that's the biggest gift. So anyway, there's a couple of things and she had to rethink it. And she used her her customers and her staff for ideas. Just give me ideas. She said, we had a brainstorming meeting. And this was one of the brainstorms. And even though people said, oh, I don't think so. How are you going to how are we going to be safe? And, she said, no, I think we could address it. And then she talked to her doctor. There's all kinds of things she did, because that's how loads of money. Right. But she's making enough money to pay her staff, to pay herself. Yeah. And, I was very proud of her. Now, my sister, can I just have another example?
I'm actually curious about your sister. Because
okay. Well, she's a florist in Paso Robles, and she's been doing really well. Like the last 3 years, she's just been upping her prices, upping her what she's providing, upping. Go. And I think in some ways it is an opportunity for all of us who've been on a high growth pattern to stop and pause. Right. Because I read something, I don't think it was you, maybe it was you, Michelle, that said, with all this tremendous growth, if we don't do the internal growth, we're going to be at conflict. Did you say that?
Can I tell you where that comes from? That was in my newsletter. Thank you.
Okay.
People out there, go to limitfreelife.com and sign up for my newsletter, please. And but that was from Cheryl Richardson, who I don't know if she's been a coach
Yes.
for a long time. She wrote Extreme Self-Care. She wrote some other things before that. It's actually one of the first personal development books I ever read. And she said that, and I thought that was pretty brilliant. And I think most people are taking that tack. I read some things that Bill Gates had talked about, and granted, he, if he would have done things differently, but that's what he's saying now, basically, is, this is our opportunity to learn a lot of things, including preparation. I mean, I think when we all come out of this, the way the cash we hold on to in our businesses, for emergencies, some of the things that we're doing, this is an opportunity to look, and that busyness you're talking about, and that growth, filled and joyous, and
right.
You don't even know how that happened. So it's also a time. So go back to your sister.
No, and Kim is my sister's name too. So I had two Kims in these examples, but 5 to 70 weddings a year. So she had a busy, and then there were funerals and other things, but her brides are her biggest area, marketing area, and so that she told me she had to change 30 brides. And to like the fall to see if we could do it in the fall. Right. And flowers, they had to cancel them immediately. They've got stuff that catches on gloves. They're all out of work. She also does draping. But this is what she said. She's asked them to come to work and rearrange things and help her with some brainstorming and marketing. So that she does. Spring and summer, early summer are usually pretty big there. In middle of summer, it's too windy and crazy over there in Paso. But so they're used to ups and downs, right? And so she's using this, and these girls, they're Cal Poly girls, students, and they just so love my sister, for doing this, and they'll be supporters of hers forever. Right. And they all love this area of the country. So they'll probably, raise kids and help Kim, and, they'll probably do that. And so much for taking care of us. And, Kimberly is very much a businesswoman, very much. And more so than me even. And yet she saw that this is the right thing to do. And, so I love that idea. And she's, and she says, look, I'm going to get something out of this. Right. I'm going to get ideas. I'm going to really start working on my marketing campaigns. I'm going to, what's the new reality when we come out of this? So anyway, and the girls, they're all the age of those brides, right? The young consultant for her, but her girls are.
Well, you're making me think of some other things too, like how are people dealing with payroll? How are people dealing with their teams right now? Yeah. And they've been a landlord, that's one thing, but they don't want people to be let go if they can help it.
Yes.
And there are so many ways their teams, and the consensus was to basically ask people to either do 20% less hours or take a 20% pay cut, but to stay on. And that was their way of hoping to be able to retain them through this. So that's an idea too. If you go into a panic, and if nothing else, to brainstorm with you. Yeah. My daughter was laid off from, she works for a lovely store. They have about 6 of them. It's more of a gift kind of store. They sell off a big reopen, maybe you'll be able to reapply. I don't know. It was kind of open-ended. And she would absolutely love right now to be brainstorming for them. And even it pains me because I could think of ways they could have continued. People young, they would have been she would just love to know she could go back there, even if she's not getting any pay right now. And she'd love to
totally get it.
Yeah. So I think if you're an employer, that is really something to think about. The SBA is offering kind of disaster relief.
Right.
So you should definitely check that out if that's something you think would help you keep your people through this, at least.
Absolutely. And the other thing is, one of my another client of mine has she's keeping a shorter, smaller staff,
Right.
saying that, they were all very important to her, but that she had to take these measures, and that they will be the first ones that she calls when it's freed up. So that was good. And but she did keep some at a smaller, shorter time frame per week. And then she also groceries coming in, and she's a good cook. And so she just did that. And it was like, well, that's lunch that, and maybe even a dinner that they could take home that, handles some money that they would have, that they could exchange, like, okay, why? Because she's doing in bulk. I think there were 8. I think there's 8 of them, 8 or 9. And she's cooking, and she's, she's doing soups and all the stuff, but it has proteins, got veggies, it's good. It's not, I won't say.
Darn it, my computer's dinging at me, and I don't know how to stop that, and that's throwing off my.
And the other thing, I just don't know. Sometimes with payroll, you just got to stop it. It's interpretations. It's so okay. You didn't save enough for 6 months of your payroll. I got it. You didn't do that. Okay. Then it's like, what can you do to keep yourself out of the underbelly of your mind telling you how bad you are, or wrong you are, or incompetent you are as a business owner? Just let it go. The most competent, the ones who really win the wars, are the ones that can manage that mind. And just say, thanks for sharing, get the heck out of here. I'm going to do something. So, and God, I think we're so much like your daughter. Whether we're, I don't know how old your daughter, whether you're 22 or you're, 68, right? So no matter what, you want to participate in something. Yes, you want to make money, of course. You gotta make money, but mostly you want to participate. So I would say, we don't usually do this, but it's possible if we say, would you work right now for, in this case, food, or would you work for the next 2 weeks for no pay? And I can do, and I might not be able to do anything after that, except for that you will be the first to reappear once I get back on my feet. I mean, the better it's going to be. And even the ask is important. Even you can say it in such a way like, I really need your help, and you're thinking. And I think this is an opportunity for all of us to up our game. So I'll be more flexible for time and hours, but whatever it is, to really kind of get there and create a whole new, rearrange my files when they generally have another completely kind of accountability. But it's finally like, oh my God, I can finally get to my filing, or redo everything that I hadn't been done. Or create new budgets. It's just, there's so much work as owning a business.
Yeah, of course. And if there were people, willing to help out virtually, I think people would love that right now. It's a win-win, really, because if people could just easily go off and get another job, that would be one thing. But now you're really making a choice, because there are hot companies hiring, but you're also exposing yourself. So it's a choice. And some people have to be working, and there are opportunities. There are companies hiring, and you can Google it and find them, or email me and I'll tell you what I'm seeing. But
that's great. That's great. Yeah, even some of the big companies, I mean, it's not millions of jobs, but Google's getting stuff. I mean, asking for things. Walmart is 100,000. There are companies that will start doing things more online. And one of my little junk girls, or what they're called, they're downtown San Luis Obispo, and you should come see me every once in a while. We'll go for that when this is all over. But they sell just all kinds of fun, interesting things, kind of old telephones and old stuff that's kind of groovy. And I talk with them, and we talk about business all the time. And they sent me and everybody else on their mailing list a thing that said, right now we're we're going to have to close our doors, and we just hate doing it. But the silver lining of all of this is that we have been working on a website to sell our products for years.
Nice.
And we finally got something had to occur like this to actually make it a priority. And they did. They had several days off. Right. And they really got to it and they asked for help, and that was all remote help, right? All electronic. And it is the cutest thing because it's got all their stuff in their kind of their way, their design, their logo, their brand. Right. And, you couldn't resist. And it's like, okay, this week we're sponsoring these kinds of things. Right. Next week, we're going to have some more different things. And it was like, oh my God, not only are you going to buy something this week, you're going to buy something next week too. Right. And it's not, I know some of us don't have the money to do that, but what's great is it's not, a $400 chair. Mm-hmm. It's, a $10 thing or $20. And it kind of makes you feel good if you can do it. Right. And it just made me so proud of them for, thinking outside the box, really. And getting it going.
Let's talk about that for a minute, because what you said is just gold. It's time is now. If you've been putting off creating that online store because you had a brick and mortar store that you were spending your time in, now's the time to put all the energy into it. And we're all going to get a lot of things done that have been on the list, and we're going to do things faster. And maybe the way we put them together is less perfect, and not the service so much, but the marketing or the background, the foundational things that take so long that sometimes we don't even get out the products or the services because there's all this other work that has to happen before we can launch it. And so I don't think people are worrying about that as much. They're just getting out there and letting people know what they do and what they have, and, in simpler ways. And they're ready to serve and ready to sell. And I kind of really like that, because for me, I get those things out there. Now's the time.
Yeah. And I'm doing a video tomorrow on the beach. I live close to the ocean, and, I've been, I don't know. I'm kind of old. I got the great hair, all this stuff like, but then I thought, if not now, when, girl? Go out there and do what you're telling other people to do. Right. And it's just going to be a lot more authentic. And I've just had all these, I haven't written it down as a script, but that's going to be what I'm doing this afternoon. And it's going to be 2 minutes, not a big deal, but it'll give people some ideas and some hope and an opportunity to call me if they need to. And just, and let go of the sales stuff, because I'm always trying to sell and trying to make more money, blah, blah, blah. But then I'm thinking, so what? Stop. Yeah. Be of service.
Right.
Be of service. Have somebody be grateful for you, Lorinda, not because you were such a swinging great salesperson. So I'm really, it's so great to be freed up for me.
You come from a sales background. So
me too.
That's a big transition for you. So, but you're reminding me of what I was thinking of before, where you were talking about the friend who needed the 3,000 to just stay afloat. Mm-hmm. And I thought, we all have our business plans for the year, or we should probably, but, and we know how much we need to sell of each thing so that we can make the amount of money that is our goal. And I think those goals, right now we do want to stay afloat, and people do want to make it through the next few months and be able to, worry about being profitable maybe later. It's doesn't we're booming again right now, but for those people who just want to make sure that they get through this and they still have their business, I think that is just brilliant to just scale back on those financial plans and just really figure out how much do I need to,
and redo the plan. You know what I mean? Because sometimes we get like, oh God, it'll have to be next year, and it's March. No, not really. Let's just relook at that plan and really look to see. And I just love the idea of creativity that we have at our disposal, and miracles. Really, I don't use that word easily, but miracles in our creativity to support each other and to support our own businesses, and and for the athletes who are struggling just to know their identity, that I want people to know that just call me. We can get that straightened out. pretty much in no time. So, and that's the great thing, Michelle, and I know you know this about coaching, is that it really doesn't take, if they're really committed to making a change, doesn't take that much.
Yeah.
We got to find out what makes people tick, or what makes this person tick. And yeah, and I think now is the best time to use a coach. I mean, just the best time. I probably have 3 now.
Well, I know I have several too.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Well, and I thought about that too, because for one second I was thinking, oh no, nobody's going to want to invest in business coaching right now. And then I thought, that makes no sense, because people are in business situations they've never been in, and have never even
ever.
And more than ever, they need, somebody to talk to bounce ideas around, to help them transition and do things differently, and to it with them. Yeah. So it's actually a good time for that. Interestingly, you brought up your athletes, and typically you're dealing with athletes whose contract is ended or, whatever, but now there are athletes out there.
That's exactly right.
I mean, they're all out of work.
Yeah, they're out of work. They can't, this is the other thing that happens when you're released, but also now, there's no structure. Yeah. So usually, I remember Kobe saying this in his farewell speech about how he, for 20 years, went, he had his breakfast, the thing, and then he went directly to the gym and he did his practicing every day. And then he did weights every day. And then it got to him about 3. So that's when, and then he said, that's the most important thing for me to work on. He didn't say I have the money, but I'm going to say he says, I don't have the money. I have the money, no problem. But I'm going to lose my structure. Mm-hmm. And that's important to me. And I think that's so for all guys, whether they're now currently signed on or are recently released. Yeah. And I've gotten more guys coming to me in this last week than I have the entire time. Because I have, I guess, enough exposure in LinkedIn, particularly, that now they're seeing who I am. So they're coming to me for I send out my calendar so I can get set appointments, and my calendar is with the new clients I'm getting for the one-on-ones, and then also the, there's the appointments to talk about their situation. And I'm not selling. I'm just selling. I'm just giving them service, and the selling will come. It'll come. I just and it gives me such freedom. I mean, I'm like, I just feel like, I don't know, that when I felt so good about selling Girl Scout cookies. I mean, it was, that's been a long time ago. So, and I was in sales and sales management. I mean, this is so much more satisfying. So it just could be an opportunity for all of us.
The freedom that you can feel. You think of, if I make enough money, I'll feel really free.
Yeah.
But it's a mindset. It's not about what you're doing or getting. It really helps, or whatever it is, but it's just a really interesting commentary on how that works.
Yeah. I mean, I one of my clients sewing some nightgowns, and this is a pretty good entrepreneur doing this. Right. And she just feels like that's something she could do. She's got her little, hand gloves on, and she's got a mask, and she's doing this, and she leaves the box outside of the, I think it's doing that through the Mormon church. I'm not exactly sure, but she found a way for her to instead of like worrying, to participate in helping. And and she's not, she's like 35. Mm-hmm. So, she's not in the, group of watch yourself. But she definitely keeps her distance and with the social distancing. So anyway, that's the thing that's so great about entrepreneurs is they can think on their feet pretty well. And, it's not quite like people that haven't had to do that. Because we all, we've all had to grow our business and like, how do we do that? And come up with some great ideas.
Right. Things that you could do at home.
Yeah.
But I am seeing people picking up their guitars and, sewing and knitting and exercising more and eating more healthily. Yep. And it's a really broad array of of hobbies and things. You can garden right now. You can do all kinds of things.
One of the things I've been thinking about is the gallon boxes, or not gallon, 5, that when I can go out and buy, I can get that organized in a better way. So, that's another crazy idea, but it makes me happy.
I know, it's great, a card and put it in the mail.
Right. And how many times have we said to ourselves, God, if I could just, or I have it on my list, but Friday comes and I just don't have any more space in my capacity to do it. And like, there goes another week. I don't write these 5 letters anyway. So it's really, that's an opportunity. I have a bunch of stationery now going to be put at use.
Well, we're going to have to wrap up, but I think the point here is that online is, if you take it day by day, you think through some safety nets and some things you can do, you take some actions, maybe you have to, overall, we can live well. I mean, you have to take care of yourself. Everybody needs to stay healthy and stay home as much as possible, but how can you really live well right now? And, maybe you're connecting more with your kids than you have in ages. And this
is a great topic. Thank you for allowing me to participate with you.
And thank you for coming on and bringing your cheery attitude, and congratulations for being busy. And well, we'll get on air again together in a few weeks.
Okay, I would love to. Thank you.
Okay, Lorinda, thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So, and thank you, viewing audience and listeners. And we are so happy that you're here. You can find Lorinda at retiredfromsports.com, or just go to her website, retiredfromsports.com. And you can find me at limitfreelife.com. Please do sign up for my newsletter. I'm putting it out weekly and having events and ideas and blog posts and things like that. I have a special offer for people in my newsletter community to meet up on Fridays now for some conversation, and that's all free, and love to have you. So you'll get those notices if you sign up. Just be well, be safe, and use your creativity. Think about what you can be doing right now to build your business, to pursue some future career that you want to have, to enjoy some new hobbies, to enjoy your family, and make this a positive in your life. Thank you. Can you hear me?